the greatest creature of the forest. In the depths of ancient woodlands, where sunlight filters through emerald canopies and morning mist dances between towering trunks, lives a creature so magnificent that its very presence transforms the forest into something magical. This is not a tale of dragons or mythical beasts, but rather the story of nature's most remarkable architect, engineer, and ecosystem guardian. A creature whose influence shapes entire landscapes and whose wisdom spans millennia. The silent sentinels. The greatest creatures of the forest are not those that roar or hunt with fierce claws, but those that stand in silent majesty, their arms reaching toward the heavens while their roots delve deep into the earth's embrace. Trees, particularly the ancient giants among them, represent the pinnacle of forest greatness, not through dominance, but through their extraordinary ability to create, sustain, and nurture an entire world within their domain. Consider the coastal redwoods of California, some reaching heights of over 380 feet, their lifespans measured not in decades, but in millennia. These gentle giants have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, weathered countless storms, and provided sanctuary for countless generations of creatures. Their greatness lies not in their ability to destroy, but in their capacity to give life to thousands of other organisms that depend on them for survival. Architects of biodiversity. What makes trees the greatest creatures of the forest is their role as master architects of biodiversity. A single mature oak tree can support over 500 species of insects, which in turn feed numerous birds, small mammals, and other creatures. The tree's bark provides nesting sites for woodpeckers, its hollows shelter owls and squirrels, and its canopy creates microclimates that allow delicate mosses and lichens to flourish. These towering beings don't simply occupy space in the forest, they create it. Through photosynthesis, they transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, literally breathing life into the atmosphere. Their fallen leaves decompose to create rich soil that nourishes countless other plants. Their root systems prevent erosion while creating underground networks that share nutrients and information with neighboring trees, forming what scientists now call the wood wide web. The greatest trees serve as living libraries, storing carbon that would otherwise contribute to climate change. A large tree can sequester up to 48 pounds of carbon dioxide annually, making them crucial allies in humanity's fight against global warming. Their canopies moderate temperature extremes, their root systems filter water, and their presence increases local humidity, creating the perfect conditions for forest ecosystems to thrive. The wisdom of age. Ancient trees possess a form of wisdom that comes only with time. They have adapted to changing climates, survived droughts and floods, and learned to communicate with other trees through chemical signals and fungal networks. When a tree is under attack by insects, it can release airborne chemicals that warn neighboring trees to begin producing defensive compounds. This sophisticated communication system reveals an intelligence that operates on timescales far beyond human comprehension. The growth patterns of old trees tell stories of historical events, drought years marked by narrow rings, favorable growing seasons by wide ones. These living chronicles provide scientists with invaluable data about past climates and help predict future environmental changes. Each ring represents not just a year of growth, but a year of learning, adaptation, and survival. Some of the world's oldest trees have stood for thousands of years. The bristlecone pines of California's White Mountains have endured for over 4,000 years, making them among the oldest living creatures on Earth. During their lifespans, these trees have absorbed countless storms, adapted to changing conditions, and continued to grow, however slowly, year after year. Their persistence in harsh environments demonstrates a form of greatness measured not in power, but in endurance. Guardians of the ecosystem. The greatest forest creatures are those that give more than they take, and trees exemplify this principle perfectly. They are the foundation upon which entire ecosystems are built. Without trees, there would be no forest, only scattered shrubs and grasses struggling to survive in harsh, exposed conditions. Trees create the vertical structure that defines forest ecosystems. Their multiple layers, from the forest floor to the canopy, provide diverse habitats for different species. Ground-dwelling creatures find shelter among roots and fallen logs, while aerial animals make their homes in branches and leaves. This three-dimensional architecture multiplies the available living space within any given area of land. The influence of great trees extends far beyond their immediate vicinity. Large trees can affect weather patterns, creating their own microclimates that influence temperature and precipitation over wide areas. Amazon rainforest trees, for example, release vast quantities of water vapor that eventually falls as rain hundreds of miles away. The destruction of these forest giants can lead to regional climate changes that affect agriculture and human settlements far from the original forest. The interconnected web. What truly makes trees the greatest forest creatures is their fundamental role in creating and maintaining the interconnected web of life that defines healthy ecosystems. Through their roots, they form partnerships with mycorrhizal fungi, trading sugars for minerals in a relationship that benefits both partners and strengthens the entire forest community. These fungal networks connect multiple trees, creating a communication system that allows forests to share resources. A tree in a sunny spot can send excess sugars to a neighbor struggling in the shade, while older trees can nurture their younger offspring through these underground connections. This collaborative approach to survival stands in stark contrast to the competitive models often assumed to govern natural systems. The death of great trees continues to benefit the forest community. When ancient giants finally fall, they become nurse logs that provide nutrients and growing surfaces for new generations of plants. The decomposition process can take centuries, during which the fallen tree supports countless organisms and continues to shape the forest structure. Lessons in resilience. The greatest forest creatures teach us profound lessons about resilience and adaptation. Trees have developed remarkable strategies for surviving in challenging environments. They can compartmentalize damage from storms or disease, growing new wood around wounded areas while isolating and containing problems. They adjust their growth patterns in response to wind, developing stronger trunks and root systems in exposed locations. Perhaps most remarkably, trees demonstrate the power of community in overcoming challenges. Forest ecosystems are more resilient than individual trees precisely because of the complex relationships between species. When one tree species is affected by disease or climate change, others can fill the vacant ecological niches, maintaining ecosystem function while the forest adapts to new conditions. The human connection. The relationship between humans and the greatest forest creatures spans our entire evolutionary history. Our ancestors lived among trees, depending on them for food, shelter, and safety. Even today, forests provide essential resources including timber, medicine, and clean water. Beyond these tangible benefits, trees offer psychological and spiritual benefits that are increasingly recognized by modern science. Studies have shown that spending time among trees can reduce stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve immune function. The Japanese practice of forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku, recognizes the therapeutic value of simply being present among trees. There's something about the scale, age, and quiet presence of great trees that puts human concerns into perspective and reconnects us with natural rhythms, often lost in modern life. Conservation and future generations. The greatest tragedy facing forest ecosystems today is the loss of these magnificent creatures before they reach their full potential. Old-growth forests, with their ancient trees and complex ecosystems, are disappearing at alarming rates. Each fallen giant represents the loss of centuries of accumulated wisdom and the destruction of irreplaceable habitat. Protecting the greatest creatures of the forest requires long-term thinking that matches their extended lifespans. Conservation efforts must consider not just the immediate needs of trees, but the conditions they'll face decades or centuries in the future. Climate change, habitat fragmentation, and invasive species all threaten the ability of great trees to continue their essential roles in forest ecosystems. The legacy continues. The greatest creatures of the forest remind us that true greatness isn't measured in dominance or aggression, but in the ability to create, sustain, and nurture life. Trees embody qualities that human societies strive to achieve: resilience in the face of adversity, collaboration for mutual benefit, and the wisdom to invest in future generations. As we face environmental challenges that threaten forests worldwide, we would do well to learn from these greatest of forest creatures. Their patient growth, collaborative networks, and generous contribution to ecosystem health offer a model for sustainable living that becomes more relevant with each passing year. In protecting and honoring the greatest creatures of the forest, we protect not just individual trees or even entire ecosystems, but the very foundations of life on Earth. These silent sentinels continue their ancient work of creating oxygen, storing carbon, and nurturing biodiversity, asking nothing in return except the chance to continue growing toward the light. In their quiet greatness lies a profound truth. The most powerful creatures are often those that lift others up, creating conditions for life to flourish across generations yet to come.